was on the trail in Iowa not long ago, but he's no politician. And he's not looking for votes. He's looking for diamonds in the rough. With Lee Cowan, meet American picker Mike Wolfe.
In a shocking turn of events that has stunned television viewers and antique collectors nationwide, Mike Wolfe, the charismatic co-host of the long-running History Channel series American Pickers, has been sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The verdict was delivered yesterday in a federal courthouse in Iowa after a grueling 7-week trial that prosecutors described as exposing the dark underbelly of America's antique trade. Wolfe, 58, known for his enthusiastic treasure hunting and encyclopedic knowledge of Americana, remained stoic as Judge Raymond Thorne delivered the maximum sentence on charges including racketeering, interstate trafficking of stolen goods, money laundering, tax evasion, and conspiracy. The case, which federal authorities had been building for nearly 4 years, revealed what prosecutors called the largest organized antiquities theft ring in American history. The evidence presented in this courtroom has demonstrated beyond any reasonable doubt that the defendant used his celebrity status and the legitimacy of his television show to orchestrate a criminal enterprise of staggering proportions, Judge Thorne stated during sentencing. Mr. Wolfe systematically looted America's cultural heritage for personal gain, leaving a trail of victimized collectors, museums, and historical societies across this nation. The investigation began when several museums reported suspicious patterns in items appearing on American Pickers that matched descriptions of artifacts stolen from their collections. What initially appeared to be isolated incidents eventually revealed a sophisticated criminal network, with Wolfe allegedly at its center, using the show's legitimate picks as cover for a parallel operation trafficking in stolen historical items. Lead prosecutor Elaine Winters detailed how Wolfe had allegedly operated 2 distinct businesses: the legitimate antique operation featured on television, and a shadow enterprise that specialized in acquiring and selling stolen Americana to wealthy private collectors who were willing to pay premium prices for items with no questions asked about provenance. Mr. Wolfe maintained 2 separate inventories, Winters explained to the jury during closing arguments. The items you saw on television were just the tip of the iceberg, the legitimate face of an operation that generated millions in illegal profits from stolen historical artifacts that were never shown on camera. The prosecution presented evidence that Wolfe had established a network of scouts across the country who would identify valuable items in museums, historical societies, and private collections, gathering information about security systems and accessibility. This information would allegedly be used to orchestrate targeted thefts, with the stolen items then laundered through a complex series of transactions designed to obscure their origins. Frank Fritz, Wolfe's former co-host who left the show in 2020 amid reported tensions with Wolfe, provided devastating testimony about his growing suspicions during his final years on the program. Fritz described how he began noticing discrepancies between items they found during filming and what actually appeared in their retail operations. There were picks that never made it to the shop, items that disappeared after we bought them, Fritz testified, visibly uncomfortable on the witness stand. When I started asking questions, Mike would say they were sold to private buyers or were being held for special clients. Eventually, I realized something wasn't right, but I couldn't prove anything. Fritz described a particular incident in 2018 when they purchased a rare Civil War-era cavalry flag from an elderly collector in Tennessee for $8,500 during filming. That flag never made it to the shop. When I asked about it, Mike said it had been damaged during transport and wasn't salvageable. 6 months later, I saw what appeared to be the exact same flag in the background of a photo of a private collection published in an antiques magazine. The collector was a billionaire known for not asking too many questions about provenance. The investigation took a dramatic turn when federal agents executed simultaneous raids on multiple properties owned by Wolfe, including his antique archaeology stores in LeClaire, Iowa, and Nashville, Tennessee, as well as several unmarked warehouses registered to shell companies linked to Wolfe. The raids uncovered what authorities described as treasure troves of stolen Americana, including items reported stolen from at least 89 different museums and historical societies across 23 states. Among the recovered items were Civil War artifacts stolen from the Smithsonian, pioneer-era tools taken from small historical societies in the Midwest, and Native American artifacts removed from protected collections. Particularly damning was the discovery of detailed notebooks containing what prosecutors called target lists of institutions, security assessments, and estimated black market values for specific artifacts. Danielle Colby, another cast member from American Pickers, testified that she had noticed suspicious patterns in Wolfe's activities, but had been reluctant to voice concerns about her longtime friend and employer. Her testimony included accounts of mysterious late-night meetings with collectors who were never filmed for the show, and shipments that arrived at odd hours. There were certain clients Mike would only deal with personally, Colby testified. These weren't the typical collectors we featured on the show. They would arrive after hours, often using side entrances, and Mike would clear the building before these meetings. I convinced myself it was just high-end clients who valued their privacy, but looking back, the pattern was clear. The prosecution presented financial records showing that Wolfe had accumulated over $38 million in assets that could not be accounted for through the legitimate businesses associated with the television show and his retail operations. Forensic accountants testified about a complex web of offshore accounts and shell companies used to launder proceeds from the sale of stolen artifacts. The financial structure Mr. Wolfe created was sophisticated and deliberate, testified IRS Special Agent Robert Mendoza. We identified at least 17 shell companies across multiple jurisdictions, all designed to obscure the flow of funds from black market sales. This wasn't amateur hour. This was a carefully constructed system designed by someone who understood exactly how to hide illicit proceeds. The defense team, led by high-profile attorney Catherine Brennan, attempted to portray Wolfe as a passionate collector who may have exercised poor judgment in some acquisitions, but had no knowledge that items in his possession were stolen. My client built his career on celebrating America's history and bringing forgotten treasures back into the light, Brennan argued. The prosecution has constructed an elaborate conspiracy theory based on circumstantial evidence and the testimony of individuals with clear motives to distance themselves from any suggestion of impropriety. This defense strategy collapsed when prosecutors produced encrypted communications recovered from Wolfe's devices, revealing explicit discussions about security vulnerabilities at specific museums, instructions to associates about how to transport stolen items across state lines, and negotiations with buyers who clearly understood they were purchasing stolen artifacts. Particularly damaging was an email exchange with a wealthy collector regarding a rare Revolutionary War-era musket stolen from a Massachusetts historical society, in which Wolfe allegedly wrote, "This item has significant heat on it right now. We need to keep it in deep storage for at least 18 months before it can safely emerge in your collection. Recommend creating paperwork showing family provenance dating back to the 1950s. The History Channel executives testified about their shock at the allegations, maintaining that they had no knowledge of any illegal activities. Network representatives described extensive vetting procedures for items featured on the show, but acknowledged that they had no visibility into Wolfe's activities outside of filming days. American Pickers was one of our flagship programs, built on the authenticity of the hunt for America's forgotten history, said network executive Victoria Hammond. The show operated on the fundamental premise that Mike and his team were legitimate antique dealers working within the law. These revelations have been devastating to everyone associated with the production. The trial featured testimony from numerous museum curators and small-town historical society volunteers who described the devastating impact of the thefts on their institutions and communities. Many became emotional as they identified stolen artifacts recovered from Wolfe's warehouses, describing the historical significance of items that had been ripped from their rightful places in public collections. These aren't just objects. They're our community's connection to its past, testified Eleanor Simmons, curator of a small historical museum in rural Pennsylvania that had lost several significant 19th-century items. When these artifacts were stolen, we lost irreplaceable pieces of our local history. Some had been donated by the descendants of the original owners specifically so they would be preserved for future generations to appreciate. Following the verdict, several jurors agreed to speak anonymously about their deliberations. "The evidence was simply overwhelming," said one female juror in her 60s. "The notebooks, the hidden warehouses, the encrypted communications, it all painted a picture of someone who had built an entire secret operation alongside his public persona." Another juror added, "What struck me was how the legitimate business was used to perfect the criminal one. The knowledge of antiques, the network of contacts, the understanding of what items had historical value. All of that expertise was weaponized to target vulnerable collections." The case has sent shockwaves through the antiques and collecting community, with industry organizations calling for stricter protocols regarding provenance documentation and authentication. Several prominent auction houses have announced enhanced verification procedures for Americana items, particularly those with potential museum provenance. For the History Channel, the conviction represents an unprecedented crisis. The network has announced the immediate and permanent cancellation of American Pickers, which had been one of its highest-rated programs for over a decade. Network executives have also announced plans for a documentary special examining the case and the broader issues of antiquities theft and trafficking. Robbie Wolfe, Mike's brother who occasionally appeared on the show, released a statement expressing shock at the verdict while requesting privacy for the family. "This is a devastating time for our entire family. We are struggling to reconcile the brother and son we know with the crimes described in court. We ask for understanding as we process these events and determine our path forward." The unprecedented life sentence for Mike Wolfe stands as a stark warning about the serious consequences of cultural theft and the hollow nature of a public persona built on deception. For a man who made his name discovering America's rusty gold, the true cost of his actions has proven to be his freedom, his reputation, and his place in the very history he claimed to cherish.
Tony Beats is no stranger to success.
I don't know you want to call it success.
With a lucrative gold mine and the only running dredge in the Yukon,
I call that pretty successful. Who the gonna get those?
Gold Rush fans were left shocked this season when mining legends Mike and Tony Beats made the stunning announcement that they would be walking away from the show that made them famous. The dramatic chain of events leading to this unexpected departure has sent ripples through the mining community and left viewers wondering what could possibly have driven the Beats family to abandon their golden empire. This content presents a fictional scenario and does not represent actual events. This is created for entertainment purposes only. For over a decade, the Beats family has been synonymous with Gold Rush. The Viking himself, Tony Beats, alongside his son Mike, have built an empire in the Klondike, becoming mining royalty through their no-nonsense approach and impressive gold hauls. From the legendary dredge restoration projects to their multi-million-dollar operations spanning several claims, the Beats family has consistently demonstrated why they're considered the most successful miners in the Yukon. Tony's colorful personality and uncompromising standards made him a fan favorite, while Mike emerged as the natural successor to the Beats mining dynasty. But Season 15 started ominously for the Beats operation. Early drilling samples from Paradise Hill showed diminishing returns, and their ambitious plan to expand operations hit regulatory roadblocks. The pressure was mounting as competing mining operations began encroaching on territory the Beats had long considered their domain. The first signs of trouble came when Tony made an uncharacteristically risky investment, pouring $3.5 million into a massive new dredge operation without consulting his family. The gamble was based on geological surveys suggesting a potential mother lode beneath an area previously deemed unviable. Mike vocally opposed the decision, creating the first public rift between father and son in the show's history. "I've been doing this since before you were in diapers," Tony told Mike during a heated exchange. "This is how we stay ahead, by taking the risks no one else will." Mike's response revealed deeper tensions. "And how many times has that nearly bankrupted us? We can't keep operating like it's the Wild West. The industry has changed." As the season progressed, the new dredge project faced one disaster after another. Mechanical failures, permit issues, and unexpected geological challenges drained resources from their profitable claims. What Tony had forecast as a 10-week project stretched into months with no gold to show for their efforts. Meanwhile, a mysterious investor began purchasing large tracts of land surrounding the Beats operations. Property values in the area skyrocketed, and several smaller mining operations sold their claims for unprecedented sums. The Beats stood firm, refusing multiple offers despite the increasing financial pressure. The situation escalated when mining equipment began disappearing from the Beats claims. Security footage captured masked figures sabotaging machinery under cover of darkness. The production company increased security, but the damage was already done. Critical equipment was compromised, and mining operations ground to a halt. The mid-season bombshell dropped when the identity of the mysterious investor was revealed. Anton Beets, Tony's estranged brother who had left the family mining business decades earlier after a bitter dispute over inheritance. Anton had made his fortune in European real estate and returned with one purpose: to reclaim what he believed was rightfully his and dismantle his brother's empire. "You took everything from me 30 years ago," Anton confronted Tony in what became the season's most watched episode. "Now I'm going to show everyone that you're not the mining genius they think you are. You're just a lucky fool who's finally run out of luck." The revelation shook Tony visibly. For the first time in the show's history, viewers witnessed vulnerability in the normally unflappable Viking. The family retreated to their compound for emergency meetings while production crews were kept at a distance. When filming resumed 2 weeks later, Tony appeared changed. The bombastic confidence was replaced by a steely determination. Mike had stepped up, taking operational control of their most productive claim, while Tony focused on countering his brother's moves. The stakes escalated when environmental inspectors arrived at the Beets operations, citing anonymous tips about regulatory violations. The resulting fines and temporary shutdowns cost them precious weeks during the mining season. Behind the scenes, evidence mounted that Anton was influencing officials through his web of connections. The tide began to turn when Monica Beets uncovered historical documents suggesting that Anton had actually sold his rights to the family mining business before leaving for Europe. The documents appeared to invalidate his claims of being wrongfully pushed out. The Beets family rallied, preparing for a legal counteroffensive. Then came the incident that would change everything. During a routine inspection of their largest dredge, Mike discovered what appeared to be explosive devices strategically placed near critical structural components. The authorities were immediately called, and the entire operation was evacuated. Bomb disposal experts confirmed the devices were real and could have caused catastrophic damage and potential loss of life. Security footage was inconclusive, but a distinctive watch visible on the saboteur's wrist matched one Anton had been seen wearing. When confronted by investigators, Anton denied involvement, but the damage to his reputation was done. Investors began pulling out of his ventures, and his campaign against the Beets lost momentum. The mining community rallied around the Beets family, with competitors offering equipment and support to get their operations running again. For a brief moment, it appeared that Tony and Mike had weathered the storm and would emerge stronger than ever. Then came the announcement that stunned Gold Rush fans worldwide. In a somber gathering of the entire crew, Tony revealed that while investigating the sabotage attempt, they had discovered something unexpected, a geological anomaly that suggested the gold deposits in their claims were far more extensive than anyone had realized, potentially worth billions rather than millions. The discovery came with a complication. The unique formation extended into protected environmental lands. "We've always said we're miners first, and television personalities second," Tony explained. "What we've found changes everything. But to do this right, to protect this discovery and develop it responsibly, we need to step away from the cameras." Mike elaborated. "The environmental sensitivity of this area means we need to work closely with authorities and indigenous communities. This isn't something that can or should play out on television. Some things are bigger than ratings." The Beets revealed they had been approached by an international mining consortium offering unprecedented terms for a partnership: complete environmental remediation, profit sharing with local communities, and cutting-edge technology to minimize the environmental impact. As for Anton, the attempted sabotage had triggered investigations into his business practices, uncovering a pattern of unethical behavior that had finally caught up with him. His revenge plot had ironically led to the Beets' greatest discovery. In the season finale, viewers watched as the Beets family packed up their personal belongings and prepared to transition to their new venture. The production crew filmed their final gold weigh-in, an impressive 3,578 ounces worth over $7 million, their best season yet despite all the challenges. Tony's parting words became instantly quotable. "We came to the Yukon to find gold, not fame." We found both. Now we're going back to just finding gold. More gold than you can imagine. That's the real dream, isn't it? Discovery Channel confirmed that while Tony and Mike Beats would no longer appear as regular cast members, the door remained open for future appearances. Meanwhile, industry insiders reported that the Beats family had quietly secured mining rights to over 15,000 acres of land and formed a new corporate entity with capitalization exceeding $100 million. The Beats' departure marks the end of an era for Gold Rush, leaving fans to wonder how the show will continue without its most iconic mining family. For Tony and Mike, however, it represents the beginning of their biggest adventure yet, one too sensitive and valuable to share with television audiences. As one mining consultant put it, "What the Beats found is the kind of discovery miners dream about their entire careers. If the geological reports are accurate, this could be one of the most significant gold deposits found in North America in the last century. No wonder they're leaving the show. They don't need it anymore." The Viking and his son sailed away from television not in defeat, but toward a horizon glittering with more gold than even Tony Beats had dared to dream possible. Their legend in the mining world isn't ending. It's only beginning its most extraordinary chapter.
That's really nice. I really like this plan.
So does Jen.
A cloud of suspicion surrounds the discovery at gold mining mogul Parker Schnabel's estate. When the FBI stormed his $7 million Alaska mansion, they expected a routine investigation. But what they found sent shockwaves through the mining community. Hidden beneath his lavish estate was a secret tunnel shrouded in mystery. But here's where things get even darker. Strange artifacts and mining equipment were later found deep within. Was it just an eccentric millionaire's hobby? Or was something far more sinister at play? What secrets did that tunnel hold, and who wanted them buried forever? Join us as we dive deep into this chilling mystery and uncover the truth behind one of Gold Rush's most shocking cases. Parker Schnabel's mysterious underground discovery at exactly 9:45 a.m. on March 18, 2025. The world was stunned as new and eerie details emerged surrounding the mysterious findings at legendary gold miner Parker Schnabel's property. Just when the public thought the case couldn't take a darker turn, authorities uncovered a chilling secret that raised more questions than answers. According to breaking reports from Mining News, investigators had secured a search warrant for Schnabel's sprawling $7 million estate in Alaska, a remote yet luxurious retreat where the mining icon had spent his off-seasons in near seclusion. But what they found inside wasn't just unusual, it was downright disturbing. From the moment FBI agents entered the mansion, a strange feeling crept over them. The scene didn't align with the usual signs of a standard home or even a miner's retreat. Something felt off. Subtle traces around the house, moved furniture, unusual scuff marks on the floor, and inconsistencies in Schnabel's personal belongings hinted at something far more complex. But the real bombshell came when agents stumbled upon a hidden passageway concealed behind a section of the garage wall. This underground tunnel, completely absent from the mansion's official blueprints, was a narrow, spiraling descent into darkness, leading to an uncharted chamber buried deep beneath the estate. As the agents carefully navigated the damp, cold stone stairwell, their flashlights pierced through the dense darkness, revealing a sight so unsettling that even the most seasoned investigators gasped in disbelief beneath the home of one of mining's most celebrated figures. A vast, eerie underground warehouse, an astonishing relic of the past frozen in time. Stacks of ancient wooden crates, some covered in dust and cobwebs, lined the walls like a forgotten archive. Some had crumbled with age, their contents spilling out yellowed documents, rusted metallic objects, and what appeared to be mining artifacts, while others remained perfectly sealed, untouched for what seemed like decades. As the agent carefully reached into one of the aged, dust-covered boxes and lifted the lid, the entire room fell into an eerie silence. What lay inside was something no one had expected. Stacks of fragile yellowed maps. The locations marked on the images were unfamiliar, their notations and symbols hinting at a bygone era. Some maps captured secret mining locations in remote areas, others showed strange, unidentified tunnel systems, and a few depicted regions whose names have been lost to time. Each image seemed to hold a hidden story, a piece of a puzzle no one had put together until now. Beside the maps were old weathered journals bound in cracked leather straps. The pages inside were darkened with age, filled with hastily scribbled notes, records of gold finds that appeared to have been deliberately buried. Some passages were smudged and barely legible, but what could be deciphered suggested a shocking narrative of deception, secrecy, and possibly something much worse. As the agent continued their search, another box revealed a collection of personal belongings. Among them was a vintage gold scale, its balance frozen at an unknown measurement, along with delicate gold nuggets that looked like they once belonged to someone of importance. But the most chilling find was a small, tattered notebook filled with handwritten calculations. Accounts of something so significant, so unsettling, that it left the agents exchanging uneasy glances. But then the discovery took an even darker turn as their flashlights swept across the dimly lit tunnel. The beam landed on something almost hidden in the shadows. An old iron door, its surface covered in rust and grime. There was no handle, only a heavy, corroded lock that looked as though it hadn't been touched in decades. The FBI has refused to comment on what they found beyond that door, but whispers of speculation are spreading fast. Some believe the tunnel could lead to an extensive underground network, one that has remained undiscovered for years. Others suspect it holds undeniable proof of a conspiracy so shocking that exposing it could change everything. The strange underground discovery as the agents crack open the lid of a dusty old crate. A thick cloud of fine powder bursts into the air, making them cough and wave their hands to clear their vision. Inside, they find a strange assortment of tools. Some look like the kind of skilled miners might have used their wooden handles, polished smooth from years of handling. They're unlike anything they've ever seen. Strange metallic devices glint under their flashlight beams. Intricate gears, coiled tubes and razor-sharp edges hint at something far more advanced. Maybe even dangerous were these instruments for precision gold mining or something more sinister. The air grows heavy with unease as the agents exchange wary glances. Their attention shifts to the walls where eerie symbols are deeply etched into the stone. These markings don't match any known mining notation, yet they feel intentional, almost as if someone or something left behind a message waiting to be deciphered. Some symbols resemble ancient gold rush-era signs, while others look like technical schematics, blueprints for an invention that defies time. But the real shock comes when they glance down the floor isn't just covered in dust. It's marked with strange circular patterns. When viewed from above, they don't seem random at all. They look strikingly similar to geological survey maps, as if whoever created them was mapping the Earth's hidden treasures, or signaling something beyond our understanding. Every new clue only adds to the mystery. Were these strange objects part of Schnabel's secret mining experiments, or did they belong to someone or something far beyond our understanding? Some of the metal tools have engravings that don't match any known manufacturer, hinting that they might be older than modern industry itself. Others contain mechanisms so precise they would require technology far beyond what existed in Schnabel's era. And then they stumble upon the tunnel at the far end of the chamber. A narrow passageway gapes open its walls, covered in strange symbols and cryptic messages as if left behind by an unknown intelligence. A faint breeze drifts through, carrying the earthy scent of damp stones, suggesting the tunnel stretches deep into the underground. With each discovery, investigators carefully piece together the puzzle. While the outside world holds its breath, journalists scramble to uncover the truth. Online forums explode with wild theories. Was Schnabel a rogue geologist, a member of a hidden mining society, or could the answer be even more bizarre? His estate has always been a subject of intense curiosity, not just because of its staggering multi-million-dollar value, but because of the thick fog of secrecy that surrounds it, hidden deep within a dense, almost impenetrable Alaskan wilderness. This massive mansion isn't just a place to live. It's a fortress designed to keep prying eyes far away. Towering stone walls and impenetrable steel gates stand as the first line of defense. But that's just the beginning. An ultra-advanced security system packed with motion sensors, thermal cameras, and round-the-clock surveillance ensures that no one gets close without permission. Even the staff, handpicked from the best in their fields, are said to be sworn to absolute secrecy, bound by strict legal agreements that prevent them from ever speaking about what goes on inside. This, of course, only fuels the endless rumors about the true nature of the estate. From the outside, the property radiates an almost surreal level of wealth and precision. The sprawling grounds maintained by world-class landscapers boast features so rare that some exist in only a handful of places across the globe. Exotic trees, towering century-old structures, and vibrant mining memorabilia create a breathtaking landscape that feels almost otherworldly. Step inside, and the sheer extravagance is overwhelming. Every hallway, every room, every inch of the mansion is a living museum of mining history and opulence. The walls are lined with artifacts worth millions, including original equipment from legendary gold rushes. The furniture isn't just expensive, it's historic, with some pieces dating back centuries, once belonging to famous prospectors and mining barons. And then there are the displays, massive glittering works of gold and precious stones, rumored to have once been buried deep in the Earth's crust. Schnabel spared no expense when building his lavish estate, creating a home that's not just grand, but almost completely cut off from the outside world. But beneath all the opulence lies a chilling discovery: an underground tunnel that workers accidentally stumbled upon during recent renovations. What makes it even more unsettling? The tunnel isn't some modern addition. It appears to be several decades old, with walls reinforced by an unusually strong material, almost as if it was built to last through anything or keep something hidden. Some experts think this isn't just an isolated passageway, but could be part of a much larger underground network, possibly connecting to other hidden mining locations, or even secret storage facilities. The FBI discovery the case took an even more shocking turn when agents uncovered a hidden tunnel beneath Schnabel's sprawling estate. While investigating the suspicious circumstances surrounding his recent property, preliminary reports suggest that the tunnel dates back several decades, possibly even dating to the original Klondike gold rush, hinting at a secretive and well-planned construction. Some speculate that it leads to a fortified underground vault designed to protect valuable gold deposits or even classified mining maps. Others believe it may be part of a much older network of tunnels once used for smuggling gold or even Prohibition-era bootlegging. Given Schnabel's wealth and access to land, he might have inherited this hidden structure, or he was using it for a more modern purpose. As FBI agents navigate the damp, claustrophobic passageway, they are struck by the eerie symbols carved into the stone walls. Some resemble ancient mining markings, while others appear to be cryptic codes. Were these left by past miners? Or did Schnabel himself have a secret obsession with the occult or hidden geological knowledge? Experts in historical mining practices are now being called in to decipher their meaning, adding yet another layer of mystery to the investigation. At first, experts thought the tunnel had been built years ago for a specific purpose, though no one could say for sure what that purpose was. Some believe it was nothing more than a private access to underground mining prospects, allowing Schnabel to test new sites, unnoticed, a feature not uncommon among mining tycoons or those who valued extreme secrecy throughout history. Secret tunnels have been used for all sorts of reasons, whether it was a means of accessing hidden gold veins, a way to transport precious metals secretly, or simply a hidden getaway from the world. However, others have wilder ideas, suggesting it might lead to a secret bunker or a hidden vault buried deep underground, built to withstand natural disasters or major catastrophes. Underground storage has been a growing interest among gold investors and conspiracy theorists for decades, especially in areas with unstable economic climates. Even more interesting, some suspect the tunnel could be part of a much larger network, possibly connecting to nearby mines or even entire underground complexes. If that's true, it opens up a chilling possibility of a previously undiscovered underground operation, similar to the ones explored in places like the lost mines of the West or the extensive mining systems used during various gold rushes. But things took an even stranger turn as investigators dug deeper. They started finding odd clues, dusty old documents with strange markings, mysterious devices that no one could immediately identify, and most bizarrely, symbols carved into the tunnel walls that looked like they came from an entirely different geological language. One investigator described them as part of an unknown mapping system, a code that had never been cracked and might point to a long-lost gold deposit, or even a covert operation dating back to territorial days or earlier. Geological mapping systems have been used by mining operations and prospectors for centuries, with some locations remaining undiscovered even to this day. That raised even more unsettling questions regarding Parker Schnabel's secret tunnel. Investigators are digging deep, literally and figuratively, into old property records, trying to uncover whether the builders or previous owners of Schnabel's mansion knew about the mysterious tunnel beneath it. Locals have plenty of eerie tales to share. Some recall whispers of prospectors who mysteriously vanished while working in the area. Their disappearances never explained. Others believe the tunnel might have been part of a secret gold transportation route during the rush years, used to move valuable findings without drawing attention. There's even speculation that it could have been built as a mining era, escape passage, a hidden exit in case of cave-ins or claim jumpers. But as word of the tunnel spreads like wildfire, the theories are getting even wilder. Some think Schnabel himself may have stashed away a hidden fortune beneath his home, drawing inspiration from his years of successful gold mining operations. Others suggest a far darker possibility, that the tunnel was used for secretive, possibly even illegal mining operations, involving powerful figures. Historians are now digging deeper, literally, to find out if more hidden tunnels are lurking beneath the property. If they do exist, it could mean an entire underground network has been hiding in plain sight. But what has people talking is the timing of this discovery. Local investigators have barely scratched the surface, leaving behind more questions than answers now, with a secret tunnel found right beneath their mansion. Investigators are wondering if this hidden passage could be the key to unlocking the truth about the region's mining history. The presence of this tunnel feels even more unsettling. Was it an escape route? A secret entrance for accessing untapped gold deposits? Some experts believe it was designed for a quick and unnoticed exit, while others suspect it allowed someone to slip into potential mining areas undetected. As forensic experts dig deeper into the tunnel, they're uncovering a bizarre mix of items that raise more questions than answers: fragile, crumbling documents, old maps with locations long forgotten, and strange artifacts that don't seem to match anything from Schnabel's well-documented public mining career. But the real mystery lies in the eerie symbols carved into the tunnel walls. These markings aren't just random scratches. They look intentional, almost as if they're part of a coded message. Specialists in ancient mining techniques and cryptography have been brought in to decipher them, with some experts suggesting they could be tied to lost mines or encrypted messages meant to guard valuable gold deposits. Even more interesting, some historians now believe the mansion itself might sit on ancient gold rush foundations, possibly linked to a long-forgotten network of underground mining tunnels. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. In a quiet Alaskan town, FBI experts searched a mansion for clues about a mysterious underground structure. As they combed through the property, one agent stumbled upon a hidden trapdoor. Beneath it lay a dark tunnel, its air thick with mineral dust. Stepping inside, their flashlights flickered over walls embedded with gold flecks scattered across the floor, were mining instruments, tools cracked and rusted with age. The deeper they went, the more fascinating the sight became: dozens of core samples and geological surveys. Lifeless secrets staring into the abyss. Who had done this and why the tunnel seemed endless. Whispering secrets of riches. Then a sudden noise echoed ahead. A chilling rumble. Someone or something was still there watching them. Had they just found the hidden motherlode of a genius miner? Let us have your opinions in the comment below. The dark secrets beneath the mansion. Parker Schnabel's story just keeps getting weirder. And now the people who knew him best are finally speaking out. Neighbors and old colleagues are sharing chilling memories. Some remember cryptic conversations where Schnabel spoke in riddles, hinting at untapped resources and geological anomalies, but never quite explaining what he meant. Others recall shadowy figures sneaking in and out of his massive estate in the dead of night. Their faces obscured their visits, brief but frequent. His mansion wasn't just a home, it was a fortress. High-tech security systems, reinforced steel doors, and underground tunnels suggested a man consumed by protecting something valuable. Some neighbors claim they heard strange mechanical noises rumbling beneath the property at odd hours, almost like something was being constructed or maybe even excavated. As investigators dig deeper, they're uncovering something even more bizarre: hidden passageways crisscrossed beneath the mansion, leading to secret rooms filled with geological surveys and strange artifacts, objects that don't seem to match any known mining operation. The link between the mysterious underground tunnel and the strange, almost professionally planned layout remains as baffling as ever. Some believe a powerful mining syndicate is pulling the strings, while others suspect a deeper, more significant gold discovery cover-up. Every discovery seems like a breakthrough until it unravels into even more unsettling questions. And yet instead of shedding light on the mystery, authorities remain frustratingly silent. Their statements are vague, carefully worded, almost as if they're deliberately keeping the truth under wraps. The few details that have been made public only add fuel to the fire, sparking endless speculation. The FBI has combed through every inch of the tunnels beneath the mansion, using cutting-edge technology to scan for hidden chambers, forgotten relics, or any clue about their true purpose. But despite their exhaustive search, what they found remains locked away from public knowledge. Why was this elaborate underground tunnel system built in the first place? Who was allowed to use it? And why have some of the region's former prospectors seemingly disappeared without a trace? What makes it even stranger is that historical records barely acknowledge the tunnels, almost as if someone went out of their way to erase any evidence of their existence. Locals have long whispered about eerie sightings on the property. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures slipping in and out of the estate under the cover of darkness. Others report spotting unmarked vehicles parked near the mansion in the dead of night, engines idling as if waiting for someone or something. Then there's the unsettling sound, an odd, low, mechanical hum coming from beneath the ground, as if some hidden machinery is still running deep within the tunnels. And the most chilling part is the stories of people who supposedly ventured into similar tunnels in the region, never to be seen again. Rumors swirl that the mansion is tied to lost mines, covert geological surveys, or even a hidden chamber filled with untapped gold deposits of unimaginable value. Social media is ablaze with theories from the plausible to the fantastic. Some believe these tunnels lead to a hidden underground mining operation, possibly used by a secretive organization operating in the shadows. Others think they might be remnants of a long-abandoned gold rush operation, one so productive that even today it remains buried in secrecy. Then some take an even wilder approach, pointing to reports of electromagnetic disturbances and eerie, unexplained sounds, whispers in the dark that hint at something not entirely of this world. Yet despite all the speculation, authorities refuse to spill a single detail. No confirmation, no denial, just silence. And the longer they keep quiet, the more the mystery deepens. People are left to connect the dots on their own. But every piece of the puzzle only raises more questions. Could there be something massive and maybe even historically significant lurking beneath our feet? With each passing day, the whispers grow louder, and so does the unsettling feeling that people are not being told the whole truth. The buried secrets and lost clues, the mystery surrounding the Schnabel estate, keeps twisting into something even more baffling. Every discovery raises more questions than answers. Could these long-lost clues finally unlock the truth, or will they plunge the story even deeper into darkness? One thing is certain, all eyes are fixed on the estate, waiting for the moment when the veil of secrecy is ripped away, exposing whatever has been buried both literally and figuratively beneath the cold, rocky soil. Among the most interesting finds are a collection of old dust-covered geological instruments with unusual modifications, despite their weathered state. Some still contain encrypted measurements, while others hold unsent communications frozen in time. Investigators assume that some equipment belonged to key miners who vanished without a trace, leaving behind scientific breadcrumbs that could expose a hidden gold deposit. A battered leather-bound journal, its pages stuffed with hurried notes, cryptic symbols and coordinates scrolled in messy handwriting, has also been uncovered. Some of the dates overlap with significant unsolved mining mysteries, sparking theories that the owner might have been documenting something much bigger than just personal findings. Even stranger, several locations listed in the journal don't exist on any known maps. And then there are the samples. Small glass containers filled with unusual mineral specimens. Some remain sealed, their contents seemingly undisturbed, while others have been carefully labeled and categorized. Were they part of an experimental mining operation? A geological survey kept hidden from the public, or something more significant, possibly linked to a mother lode that someone wanted to keep buried? Chemical analysis could provide answers. But so far, speculation ranges from underground geological anomalies to covert mining operations. Every item uncovered feels like a carefully placed puzzle piece, hinting at a bigger picture that someone desperately tried to keep hidden. The modified equipment might still hold traces of deleted data, leading to valuable deposits that never expected to be exposed. The scribbles in those aged notebooks aren't just scattered thoughts. They could be cryptic codes, emergency instructions, or even maps for something much bigger. Some pages are filled with hurried, almost frantic handwriting, while others contain precise, deliberate markings as if someone was trying to document something crucial. And then there are the samples, small glass containers, some still sealed their contents. A mystery. Were they part of a geological expedition, experimental mining operation, or something far more valuable? Could they hold traces of rare earth metals, undiscovered gold veins, or even classified mining research? Investigators are considering every possibility, especially given the rumors that the Schnabel estate had ties to underground mining, whispers of secret operations, untapped resources, and strange financial transactions that never quite added up. Authorities aren't just looking at the objects themselves, they're digging deeper, analyzing every detail. The exact composition of the soil samples used in the containers, microscopic fibers from the pages, and even partial fingerprints left behind. Advanced forensic techniques, including spectral imaging and material testing, are being used to detect invisible traces. If these clues lead to a specific location, the entire investigation could take a shocking turn. With each revelation, the mystery surrounding the Schnabel estate becomes even more unsettling. The public is on edge, eagerly awaiting answers. Will this investigation expose a long-buried secret that shakes the mining world? Or will it all amount to nothing more than speculation and unanswered questions? And then there's the tunnel, a structure that shouldn't even exist, hidden beneath the mansion's foundations. How far does it stretch? Where does it lead? The FBI's ongoing investigation into the hidden tunnel beneath Parker Schnabel's mansion has left people both fascinated and intrigued. What are your thoughts about this FBI's shocking discovery of a hidden tunnel beneath Parker Schnabel's mansion? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Comment section below. Comment section below. Comment